up this program for a weekly news recap. Once again, coming to you from the VNN Zeppelin. Another big week for President Trump. Not only did the Supreme Court approve funding for the border wall, after a long, drawn-out judicial battle based entirely on moral objection, ideology, and tribalism, the Supreme Court agreed with and upheld the decision of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. Never thought I'd be reading that news. The decision will free up an additional $2.5 billion in funding for the border barrier. Time to build that wall, eh, fellas? Also, earlier this week, the House finally invited Robert Mueller to answer questions concerning the findings of his report. The long and the short of it is there was no evidence found of any Russian conspiracy, nor of any attempt at obstruction on the part of the Trump administration. Although stating that he could not completely exonerate the president, it's important to keep in mind that a prosecutor cannot exonerate. The purpose of an investigator is to find evidence of any wrongdoing, which Mueller was unable to do. Unable to just drop the matter and cut their losses, there are still those on the left who still see impeachment as an option, probably still sore about Hillary losing the election. Word has it that Mueller is still wandering through the parking lot of the Capitol looking for his car. When asked of where he left his car, he said that's outside of his purview. The Mueller hearings come following a week of criticism of the president concerning his tweets of the Broad Squad, which of course the media also labeled as racist. They never seem to get tired of calling people racist. Despite these criticisms, the president's approval rating keeps steadily in the high 40s, no doubt going to increase with the conclusion of the Mueller hearings. Though there are those out there whose minds will never be changed, which brings us to our next story. Donald Trump has once again forced Democrats on the defensive. His recent tweets about Baltimore, Maryland have once again resulted in the accusations of racism, not due to anything he said, but because the area in question is the district of Congressional Democratic Representative Elijah Cummings. The same Elijah Cummings who led an anti-gun sit-in on the House floor with the goal of taking rights away from people. The same rights that might make the people in his district just a little bit safer. While Democrats were quick to label the tweets as racist, they completely forgot about the time they didn't call Bernie Sanders racist for calling the same city a third world country. To add insult to injury, the same Bernie Sanders was quick to jump on the bandwagon and come to the defense of Elijah Cummings. Perhaps he forgot what he said. This will no doubt result in another defeat for Democrats because rather than admit that there's a problem, they got out the old race card, thus completely failing to acknowledge that there even is a problem.